Yeah.
Okay. So, hey everyone, Kayleigh and Immanuel here. It's great to have you, and we want you to know that you're loved and there's a purpose for your life.
And today we want to talk about how our upbringing challenged our relationship. So this is a question that we received, and obviously for us, but also for you, it's I think for everyone it's the same. The way that you grew up shapes the way that you are today. It shapes the way that what you expect, and also how you deal with certain situations. And so we want to look at specific scenarios where we had some challenges and also see how we resolved them.
Yeah, so first one we wanted to talk about is church life. And actually this was probably the most kind of persistent problem or challenge that we had.
I would say maybe the biggest challenge we've had.
Yeah.
One of the biggest challenges.
Yeah, because church is something that we are engaged with every week. So yeah, when you have different expectations about something that you do every week, it's quite a lot. Yeah.
So for me, I grew up as a pastor's kid. So my parents are church leaders. So for us, growing up, we were leading several churches. So a Sunday to me looked like getting up in the morning and leaving the house at 9 and coming home sometimes at 5, 6, but sometimes also at 10 or 11 p.m. in the evening. And it was all about church and ministry, how we can serve people, how we can worship God, and how we can also share God with others. So this is kind of like what I grew up with, and a lot of our family life was basically around that topic. How was it for you?
And for me, I was the complete opposite. Well, kind of. So up until maybe 8 years old, then I think we used to go to church. But from about then on, so from about 8 years old on, I actually wasn't allowed to go to church. And again, a topic for another day. But yeah, I wasn't allowed to go to church, although I really, really missed it and I really wanted to. So when I met Immanuel, this was actually the first church that I had been to since I was very young. So I was used to studying at home and doing things at home.
So then being in a relationship I had, and being at the same church, had different priorities and also different expectations around how we would interact with church and with people at church. Like for me, it was a lot about sacrificial giving and serving, and I would spend a lot of time there and see who are the people that I can talk to, who are the people that I can invest in. And that was often then at the expense of the time I would have with Kayleigh. A Sunday would then mean we would often spend the whole day at our church, but Kayleigh wanted something else. Like she wanted to spend time with me as well, not just church.
Yeah.
And for me, I think I just thought about, okay, Sunday is church, this is what I do.
Yeah. And I think for me there were quite a few things. Like so when we were in church, like maybe that could have been easier for me to get used to if we were also doing things together. But the way things worked out, we were helping out on different teams and we were both preoccupied doing separate things. So we basically didn't talk to each other during the day at church because we were both on our own schedule. And the other thing then was not only time with me, but then time with my family. So my family have been pretty separated from each other growing up. So I didn't see my grandparents or my brother, my sister for a long time. And about a year before I met Immanuel, that's when we had just started reconnecting, me and the rest of my family. So some of those kind of hard to come by family meetings were happening around that time when we were together. I think there were quite a few times where there was a chance to do something with the family, but because of all of our schedules, a Sunday would have worked best. And because Immanuel was in Bible school and he had commitments with Bible school at the church on Sunday, we couldn't do those days, or on one occasion Immanuel didn't come and couldn't come, and yeah, like I really wanted to support you in that, because I think it's great for us to honor God, and you know, for different people that looks different, and for Immanuel, the importance of being there at church to support was his way of, you know, honoring God. So I supported him in that, and I also supported him in communicating with my family. It wasn't something which was really awkward, you know, everyone understood this is how we want to prioritize things. But in my heart, for me personally, I would have been more flexible, and I would have preferred if we together were both more flexible with not how often we attend church, but if there is something very important family wise, to make that a priority, just because I hadn't had that chance to make them a priority before.
And I think the challenge then came in us not being very open and haven't communicated everything around this is my expectation, and then also understanding this is why this is an expectation, because of my upbringing, because of me being used to how things are. And so we didn't really work towards one goal. We were just kind of like fighting our own fights, and it then even sometimes seemed like there were conflicts. Like I would feel bad to do something related to church because I knew that you weren't 100% always behind that, and I knew that I'd have to like sometimes decide between one or the other. And I think that we then were able to kind of like resolve some of those topics by just talking more about this, how we feel towards a certain.
Yeah, I think the willingness to revisit the topic helped. And well, this was all happening within months of us meeting. So it was really early on in our relationship to think about challenging someone's belief or something that's so personal, you know, how you want to honor God, to challenge that. It was quite difficult to do. And we did do it, but I think slowly, and maybe that's the best way to do it, to kind of take those baby steps, and slowly then we could align and understand each other more as we got to know each other better.
Often there was kind of some sort of pressure for us to be in separate teams, to do things individually, and I don't think this is always good. And so for us now, I think that we try to be very intentional about, okay, what are the things that we can do together, because together we can be better than alone sometimes. We have unique gifts, so we are encouraging each other in our unique gifts, but also then seeing where we can be aligned on the things we can do together. And I think this also really helps with regards to our church life. Yeah,
that's true. I think people assumed, so in a relationship you can end up relying on each other and then not being willing to do things on your own, like you said, use your unique gifts. And so I think because of that, maybe fear of that happening to us, that's why we were encouraged to be apart. But actually we're both very confident and happy to do things separately if we needed to, but we love doing things together. And like you said, we're better together. We do well when we're together. So very good point.
Thank you. So another topic that has somehow challenged our relationship is shaped around our culture. So as you might or might not know, I'm German and Kayleigh's English, and so we come from different cultures. It's not extremely different. It's not like the UK and like China or so.
You wouldn't think there was really any difference,
but
I didn't think
when you live with someone, you notice a lot of differences. And so I guess the first big difference is that we Germans, we're just very funny people. We're very funny. She laughed.
Idiot.
Well, okay, on a serious note, one thing that was actually quite challenging for us was around punctuality. So
that's true.
Punctuality, especially with being at church on time or visiting friends on time. and it has caused quite a bit of stress because I hate being late. And why do I hate being late? Because Germans have this sort of like stereotype of being on time, and also my dad would always say, I hate being late. And I kind of picked this up because I really value that, like, being punctual is for me, it's part of being a person of integrity. And there were times when, listen, integrity. There's been times when I was ready to go and she was not, and I wanted to go when we were leaving for something, and I was ready to go with my bike, and Kayleigh was still doing this and that and that.
Really?
Like,
Even
Kayleigh's not
those
crazy,
times?
okay? You're not crazy. It's not like you need to make it like big time makeup or so. There were things where you were just a bit slower, and I then got stressed. Then on our way there, whether it be to, wherever we would go, quite often I would be the one getting stressed, wanting to cycle faster, and you were just behind, and I could tell that we were both just like not great on the same page.
Yeah.
It was not the best atmosphere.
So that actually came out though, like I only found out about this, simmering annoyance when, like, maybe a few months ago in Cyprus.
On our honeymoon, yeah.
In our honeymoon. So actually, the thing I was aware of is that if we said, okay, let's meet somewhere, and I was like 10 minutes late, then he was a bit annoyed. And also the first time we were supposed to meet at church together for like a specific earlier service, bear in mind I'm driving 2 hours from Kent to this service, but anyway, I was half an hour late. And yeah, I can't remember the exact reasons for that. Maybe I had a good reason, maybe I didn't, but either way.
Yeah, you probably did.
Yeah, I feel like I did, but I won't make excuses for myself. But I know he was really annoyed with me. He was really annoyed and he didn't hide it. So I knew that, and I was sorry, and I was really trying to be more on time. And I'm still working on that. But yeah, for the whole leaving, and I guess that is upbringing. Although my dad also would get really annoyed when we didn't leave instantly. But that's why I've become a very relaxed person, because I don't like stress. So
that would make me even more stressed.
And then he gets more stressed.
we are late, and I'm stressed because we're late.
Yeah.
And we're late, and you are chill because that was your natural reaction, because you wanted to be the opposite of your dad. You just wanted to be calm and not bothered.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like
but you thought that meant I didn't care.
Yes, exactly.
Well.
Yeah, and that was horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you for now being on time every time. Now and for the future.
You're welcome. Yeah. So, and I think that's another thing where it's like a reminder. Say what's on your mind.
Yeah.
Because for so long, I think there were quite a few times where I also could have said what was on my mind, because I noticed he's a bit off, a bit funny. I'm relaxed. Well, my voice is gone. And he's a bit funny. I'm relaxed, and I don't ask him why, or I don't ask create a space for him to really share why he's a bit off. Yeah.
What helped here was just being open about, this is what I value. How can we, is this something we can agree on, and how can we basically put this into practice?
Yeah, I wanted to say, this not saying what's on your mind, sometimes it can come from a good place of not wanting to be petty or wanting to compromise. So your partner's always late and you're thinking, oh, let me be a good boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. I won't say anything, I'll just leave it, and for a while that means you don't have any confrontation, fine, but like with us, at some point it starts to wear away. So the best thing to do is to share it, and that doesn't need to be in a petty way. It can be in a loving way, it can be in a calm way.
What was another thing about culture? that challenged our relationship?
Bluntness.
Bluntness.
I mean, it wasn't the most huge challenge, but like you, like I have my areas of being very relaxed, like if we're late, and I think you also have your areas of being relaxed. Maybe when I've shared something, like emotions, maybe, or I guess just when you're also contemplating things, when you're thinking deeply, you take your time and you're quite quiet when you're doing that. It's like now I know that maybe some of it is cultural, where Germans don't react with like big emotions immediately. A bit slower, a bit more logical, a bit slower. A bit more logical, like taking all the information, and it's like, yeah, then you give a really deep, insightful thought, and now I know that, then I can just wait, be patient. So thanks for watching our video if you made it this far. They were a few things that challenged our relationship from our upbringing, and
so let us know, maybe if you are in a relationship, in what way was your upbringing a challenging factor, and how did you overcome? We'd love to hear it from you.
Yeah, and as you may have noticed, we're quite a new channel, so please do subscribe. And for those who didn't realise, if you click the bell as well, then you get a notification. If you don't want a notification, you can just subscribe. That's fine. So yeah, thanks so much, guys.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.